जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दनं व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरा यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रोत्र श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की गंगा मई यमुना मई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू शीला प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 10 चैप्टर 15 वर्सेस 22, 23 और 24, 23। फलानि तत्र भूरीनि पतन्ति पतितानि च सन्ति किन्तव अवरुद्धानि धेनुकेन दुरात्मना। Translation: In that Talwan forest, many fruits are falling from the trees and many are already lying on the ground, but all the fruits are being guarded by the evil Dhenuka. Purport: the demon Dhenuka would not allow anyone to eat the delicious ripe palm fruits of the Talwan, and Krishna's young boyfriends protested this unjust usurpation of the right to enjoy the fruits of a public forest. Soti viryo suro rama he Krishna khara rupa drik atmatulya baler anyar nyati bhir bahubir vrita. O Ram, O Krishna, Dhenuka is a most powerful demon and has assumed the form of an ass. He is surrounded by many friends who have assumed a similar shape and who are just as powerful as he. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayati Grimyat Kipatam Mande Shri Guru Dinataran Vanchakalpatarashika Pasindava Jagpatitanama Pavanibhya Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Just a second. So in this verse we can see the disciples of Prabhupada write that the boyfriends protested this unjust, yes, the right to enjoy the fruits of a public forest. And we can see that even today, like, there is unjust, and then there are riots, there's unions, mutiny towards unjust, or even whatever one person wants. But this was the right unjust, as in, like, to fight against it. So this fighting spirit, Srila Prabhupada mentions, it comes from the Lord himself. How can we have something different from the Lord? He is the absolute truth. So Hanumat Preshaka Maharaj once mentioned that he's absolutely good and he's absolutely evil also. Because he was answering this question, why is there suffering so much in this world? So he was answering this point that he's given this point that because the living entity wants to suffer apart from Krishna, like enjoy apart from Krishna, so he gives unlimited opportunities to enjoy, which end in frustration. Yes, because one cannot be happy without Krishna. There is that big illusion that we will be happy without Krishna. And hence, 22, 22. So that's why this pastime that where Dhenukasur is protecting these fruits, actually it is Krishna's fruits. But still, we think that we are the enjoyers and proprietors. Bhoktaram yadna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Everything belongs to Krishna. This attitude, this mood that everything belongs to Krishna is very difficult to bring about. And that's why Gaur Govind Maharaj always mentions that sadhana siddha is very difficult. It has to be kripa siddha only. Because how much can we do? It can come only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. That's why Srila Prabhupada was very keen. And even at the beginning, when he is even traveling to the West, yes, establishing ISKCON, everything is for his Guru Maharaj. By his blessings only. Yes. Krishna tava punya habe bhai. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Priyati. Like by the desire of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then only it is possible. All the living entities will be happy. Like a flood, a wave of devotion will inundate the whole world and submerge them in devotion to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, even though he didn't even start ISKCON, even though there was no international, he was the only person on that boat going to the West. But that faith in the Guru and the holy name makes sure that one will actually be successful. Maybe externally might not look like that, but because the intention is to serve Guru and Gauranga and their sincere desire, that desire itself, Krishna becomes happy. Haldar Maharaj says that the real initiation is not when you get the kanthi or the thread. The real initiation is when you actually have the desire to please Guru and Gauranga. When you start developing that mood. Why? Because initially it's only taking. What can the Guru give me? Oh, the Guru is giving me Krishna Prem. Oh, okay, this will happen, that he takes away my karma. And all of these things are there. I have this support, I have this temple, it is my right. Like, Dhenukasura is protecting. Sometimes we think it's our right. But it's not our right. Yes. We have to be very careful that where we express our rights and how we do these things, because we can have the right, but then there is that obligation also. Yes. Because we want rights and no obligations. Everybody should serve me. I do not have to serve anyone because it's my right to be served. Yes. That is the mentality of the conditioned soul. That is what Dhenukasura is also thinking. Yes. He is the enjoyer of Talwan. But Krishna's friends, they want Krishna to enjoy. They know that these fruits are so nice and juicy and there's so much to enjoy. They want Krishna to enjoy. Because Balram and Krishna do not want anything. But the devotees want them to enjoy even more. They are happy with the friends. They are happy playing with them. But no, the friends want them to enjoy even more. They want to offer something with love. Today being Madhvacharya's disappearance day and even Ramanujacharya's, I think both are disappearances, right? Or today's appearance also of Ram. But anyways, we celebrate both as the same, like Kevala Bhakti Prabhu mentioned on Sunday. We can see in the Ramanujacharya's life that how keen and how compassionate, that even before he became Ramanujacharya, before he took sannyas, in Kanchipuram, his name was, I think, Kanchipurna only. He was much elder to Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya is married, has a wife. And then they are all obviously great Brahmins. They come from a Brahmin lineage and obviously everything is perfect. And Ramanujacharya, we know, he's Lakshmana himself. Ram Anuja. Yes. Romapad Swami Maharaj had given this lecture on Ramayana, and in that he was explaining that, Shesha, yes, Shesha, there are like how Bharat is, and then, those passive. So over there he was saying Ram Anuja, that he's Lakshmana himself. And that's why when Kanchi, he is actually much more attracted to Kanchipurna because of his devotion. And Kanchipurna is actually Shudra. Yes. But his singing and everything, the Lord actually becomes so enamored by him. Yes. Varadraj in Kanchipuram. He actually talks to Kanchipurna. Yes. The deity today, even today, the deity is there. The deity used to speak to Kanchipurna, what he wants, what he doesn't want. Give me cooling air, fan me during the summer. Such pure devotion. But he's not from a Brahmin family. Yes. And at that time it's a big deal. Even for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Haridas Thakur, like Radhika Raman Prabhu was mentioned, and he gave this point so vividly. The compassion of these souls is so great. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the Lord himself. Haridas Thakur never went into Jagannath Puri temple. Haridas Thakur was an outcast from birth. Yes, Yavana. Not allowed, Hindu community, that community, it's always across. And then, even if water is sprinkled from a well which is used by the other community, you have to convert into that community. You are no more a Hindu. It's so strict. Haridas Thakur, from birth, he wanted to chant Krishna's names. So he's always an outcast. But when he came to Jagannath Puri, to take association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even for Advaita Acharya's pastimes, very insane pastime, Advaita Acharya being the head of the Brahmins, of Shantipur. All the Brahmins used to worship him like anything, because he was the head of the heads. And Advaita Acharya, in his house for this annual, Shraddh ceremony, unlimited Brahmins used to come. They used to know that, okay, today we are going to get a lot. And they used to respect Advaita Acharya. And it was done by hierarchy. The greatest of the Brahmins will sit first, then the others, then the others, then the others. And that was the typical thing. It was a common thing. Nobody actually frowned upon it. But Haridas Thakur was visiting Advaita Acharya. And the compassion, no, forget about compassion, the genuine love for a Vaishnava, the genuine love between devotees. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is PhD. We might think doing Krishna Bhakti, yes, is the thing. But beyond that, Krishna Bhakti is everything. But what is real Krishna Bhakti? Chaitanya Charitamrita is PhD. Why? Because it's full of relationships. How relationships have to be done between devotees, dealt with devotees, amongst devotees. Very important. That shows the level of the devotee. Yes? That shows the level of the devotee. Advaita Acharya values Haridas Thakur like anything. Yes? That's the basis of devotee care. It's not external bodily comfort, but the genuine love and care for a devotee. Yes, not all might be able to do like Radhanath Swami. Not all might be able to do like Srila Prabhupada. But Krishna knows in the heart what value we have for devotees and how we view devotees. Yes. It's very easy to see that this person is actually exploiting me, and that's why he's not a good devotee. How can he be a good devotee? But Haridas Thakur, coming from a background of Mlecha and Yavana and being beaten at 22 marketplaces, and however that position might be, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the other hand, so weird. It's like, on one hand, he is serving Haridas Thakur. He touched Haridas Thakur's body. He embraced Haridas Thakur. That's amazing. Advaita Acharya put him at the strongest position above all the Brahmins. Above all the Brahmins. Yes. Even today in ISKCON, whatever it might be, it is what it is. Because sometimes we come from Brahmin backgrounds. I've heard. It's so bad. Like ISKCON devotees who read Prabhupada's books. They are serious. But their thought process is still not that great. They think, coming from that Brahmin birth, they think they're superior. I was talking and I was like, wow. Srila Prabhupada writes over here, na Brahman na Kshatriya. Yes, I am not a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or a Brahmachari Grasa. I am a Gopir Pada Kamalaya or a Dasa, Anudas. But no, obviously, we hear this. Yes, but we don't have faith. We think that, I come from a Brahmin background. Obviously, I am much more intelligent than that person over there who is coming from a background who had eaten non-veg before. Obviously, I am superior to him. We might not say it, but internally our consciousness is like that. We come from that big background of this Martha Brahmanas or that Brahmanas. And then we are proud of it. Krishna doesn't value that at all. He never valued the Brahmins in Vrindavan. Those Brahmins who were doing the yagyas and Krishna actually, his boyfriends went over there to actually have food. They didn't give it, but the Patnis gave it. And what do they say? The hell to our designation. The hell to our birth. We could not do it. And after that also they didn't go to Krishna. That's the amazing part. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of all these things to tell us that how subtle our consciousness is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hugged Haridas Thakur when he disappeared, when actually Haridas Thakur left his body, he actually embraced, he picked up the body. Yes. And there was no, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not do it for anyone else. And Haridas Thakur was not even a Brahmin. No, but he was a pure devotee. Yes, we might argue all these things. But at the same time, when Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he was walking towards Jagannath Puri with this Ramdas, at least that was his name. There was one more name to it. And he was acting and he was behaving like a very great devotee of Ram. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not meet him at all. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami said, he's such a nice devotee. Why don't you embrace him? He's much better devotee than I am. Mahaprabhu just was very angry. He was like, I don't want to meet him. He was very indifferent, not even angry. And then he said that ask him why is he doing Ram Bhakti. And he said, tomorrow I will become one with Ram. He is a Mayavadi. He is a Brahmin. He is born into the culture. He is a great Brahmana. He is showing at least he is a great devotee. But Mahaprabhu did not even touch him. On the other hand, a Mlecha Yavana by birth. And he embraced Haridas Thakur. Amazing. When I heard this, I was like, oh, the significance of Haridas Thakur's disappearance is so great. Because what I usually thought, he's a devotee, obviously Mahaprabhu would do it. What's the big deal? But Mahaprabhu is showing something totally different. How one should deal with devotees. Yes. Yes, sometimes we have the habit, like usually I have the habit, you'll go and mock somebody, you know. And then you have something in your heart, right? So obviously you'll go and mock that, I remember that because I had something in my heart, so then this person will come and say something to me, even with my family. And they'll be like, yeah, I've seen you doing this thing. Yeah, I know what you do. What's the big deal? Yeah. And then I'll agree to everything, and at the end I'll just add a line. Yeah, after you do this thing, then I'll consider you something, you know. Otherwise I won't. Yes. Why? Because subtly in our consciousness we have that dirt. We have that poison in our heart that we don't like this devotee. Yes. Because he said something to me that happened, and he had done politics against me. Yes. And it's very difficult when everybody has proven that yes, this person has done politics against you, and then that person comes in and you have to keep a straight face. But Mahaprabhu over here is valuing the other devotee. Why? Whatever it is, he's still a devotee, right? Yes. You might not work together, but you can at least be cordial. It's very difficult to do it. Once you have that issue with anyone, it's very difficult to keep your heart clean and think about Krishna and just focus for the Lord. And this comes more and more evident when you're trying to do something. Yes. Suppose you're organizing something and all. Shri Radha Madhav Hare Ki. When you're organizing something and you're organizing a festival, and then that devotee shows up over there, and you're like, ye kyun aaya? I don't want him over here. Why do I have to serve him? Why do I have to give him any service? I don't like him. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. I've done it. You know, I personally have done it. Your heart cries out saying that I don't want this person over here. And that's when we see how much we love Krishna. Because at that moment, an inner conscience comes up and says, but this is for Krishna, right? Who are you? You are nobody. But no, I don't want him over here. What can I do? How much should I suppress my anger? But that's real Krishna consciousness. It's not organizing the festival is real Krishna consciousness. It's how you do it together. How you value the other person. How much did the devotees like it? That's the perfection of the festival. It's not how good the decoration was and how the dressing was. It's never that. It's never how many people came to the temple. It's never the success. Yes, it is. Like let's say for Radhashami, last year less people, or maybe this year there were, maybe next year there might not be that many people. Yes, I will feel sad about it. Obviously, we will feel sad. We are organizing, but people do not show up. And we will feel hatred. That's definitely there. That people do not understand. They're stupid. They're idiots. They do not know the value. But that is still not the success. The success is, it's like my counselor used to say that these festivals, right? Yes, Janmashtami is a public festival. And even devotees, yes, everybody has to be involved. One of the Maharajas was saying this, that for these festivals, devotees have to come together. It is a must to sit and chant together. Whoever we are, whether we are senior, junior, whatever it is, whether we are pujaris or not, whether we have seva or not, but if we are not coming together and chanting and listening, okay, listening might be, okay, not everybody likes it, but at least kirtan, yes, at least for that senior devotee who everybody respects. Forget, okay, juniors are singing, okay, fine, you have something else to do, agreed. If we are not doing that, if we are not sitting down and doing kirtan, yes, Krishna is not pleased with us, however bigger we do. Yes, usually I think that's why for Janmashtami, those last few hours are important. Yes, it's important to serve guests. But the thing is that if you do not have it, you cannot give it. You know, how much ever you might do at home, how much ever you might show off, but you still have that show off mentality. You do not have that pleasing mentality. You do not have that service attitude. The value for devotees, you cannot give it at all. That's the basis of community. And that's why whenever Janmashtami is there, right, like I make sure that, because this year you were on the altar, but before that, like all devotees should come and sit together for Abhishek. They should chant together, not do any seva other than worshipping the Lord. No other seva. Nothing is at any importance, because everything is done before that. The VIPs are done. Everything is done. Everything can wait. But if we do not take out time and do that, it's useless. Our service for the whole Janmashtami has gone down the drain. Krishna won't see that. Why? Because we do not know how to please him. He gets pleased the most. Not when you're doing chamar, when the Abhishek is going on. Yes. Usually people like to do that. Yes, that's good. But it's when you sit together and chant for the pleasure of the Lord, having that mood that I want to see them happy. Otherwise it does not work. We won't progress in bhakti at all. We won't understand what is Krishna bhakti. Yes, we might do so many things that might be just our nature because we are born in the mode of goodness. But Krishna bhakti is beyond mode of goodness. It's not mode of goodness. It's transcendental mode of goodness. Yes, transcendental mode of goodness. And that's why if people do not show for a festival like for Radhashtami, because it's not that famous, but that festival is for devotees to come together and chant and dance. So for the pleasure of Srimati and Krishna, yes, Gaur Purnima, Nityanand Trayodashi, it's for devotees to come together and for the pleasure of the Lord. But these basic things we forget. Why? Because we are busy with service. Busy with service, and then what do we do after that? Nothing. Nothing at all. Yes, we cannot say that we are busy with service, because that is our escape route to not deal with devotees, to not deal with Vaishnavas. And then, Mahaprabhu came to give us Krishna Prem, which is rarer than, any aspect of Krishna. We won't have that. Because why? It's all about relationships. Over here, the boyfriends of Krishna. Yes, it's about relationships. Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Haridas Thakur, relationships. Ramanujacharya, he valued Kanchipurna like anything. When he invited him, he begged him to come to his home. Please come, I want to serve you. He's like, no, you're a Brahmana, I am a Shudra, I cannot come. No, please come. And then he's like, okay, fine. Because you're insisting, I'll come at a very odd time, okay, so that nobody sees me. You know what he does? He tells his wife that to tell Ramanujacharya to go to the temple for a service. And that wife tells him, yeah, you have called for a service. But he's coming. No, but they have called you. You have to go. He's like, okay, I'll come. You keep him. You do not leave him. Let him go. The wife is a Pakka Brahmana. You know, Pakka Brahmins we have. Thread ke saath, you know. So, here Pakka Brahmana. She comes from a Pakka Brahman family. He comes from the back door. He goes from the front door. He comes and he sits. And he actually has prasad. She serves him. And then he's like, I have to go. But no, my Swami wants you to wait. No, I really have to go. My other service and all. Like, okay, Hare Krishna. He leaves. And she's over there, you know, washing the pots. She actually, whatever, you know, what do you call that? That shesha, that juta which is left, right? That remnants, she actually throws away, washes the whole pots which she served in, everything she cleans up. Why? Now her Swami is going to take prasad. Yes. Everything has to be spick and span. Why? Because this Shudra has eaten in our house. I have to clean everything. Ramanujacharya comes back. He sees this. What happened? He ate and he left. Where is the juta? Where is the remnants? No, I cleaned it. Because he's a Shudra. I don't want him over here. It's not good. You're a Brahmin. She's like, you are a useless lady. You are a useless lady. The next moment, Ramanujacharya writes a letter addressed to her saying that you have been called by your father. She leaves and he leaves home for good. He takes sannyas. That's how much he values the devotees. He couldn't care less what others thought of him. He took sannyas. Why? But this is not good. Yes, none of our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada himself. And that's why my counselor was saying that, you know, Janmashtami is for the public. Yes, do all the preaching and fundraising and all of that. Good. But Radhashtami is for the devotees. They should come together and chant. But our congregation lacks that. As simple as that. Why? Because nobody feels the need to come together and chant. Yes. Why? Because I can do it at my home. I have my family. I have my this. And then you'll always have your family. But not Krishna. That's for sure. No guest speaker will come and say this. Why? Because they want to come back. And we don't want to create chaos. But the thing is that this is a fact. That's the basis of community. That's the basis of unity. That's the basis of any Krishna conscious environment. Coming together and chanting. And that's why the organization, Srila Prabhupada created ISKCON for what? So that devotees can come together and chant. The perfection of any festival is how much do the devotees come together and chant for the pleasure of the Lord. That's why Harinam is important. Why people come and together and chant. Yes, that feeling of doing direct devotional service together with devotees pleases Krishna the most. Not a big temple, not a small temple, not any temple. Yes, if you see ISV, if you see Gopinath, Chopati, they started very small. Yes, even ISV today is a very small temple. But why? They focus on these points. Yes, to make japa together, chant together, dance together, do kirtans together. That's why they have so much big population. It's direct evidence. People say how to expand. This is how you expand. This is how we can expand. I don't do it. I don't value devotees. I don't come together and chant. And that's a fault in me. But that's a fault with everybody else over here also. Yes. It's so evident in our community. Sad to say, but it is there. It is there. If you don't do it, it's not going to please Radha Madhav Hari. How much ever dresses we bring, how much ever we make flower dresses, it doesn't please the Lord. Why do we have these opportunities? So that devotees can come together and do these things. Yes, Nityanand Trayodashi, Gaur Purnima, it's for bringing devotees together. Otherwise, we can do festivals at home. Yes, but why do we come to the temple? For this thing only. Association of devotees is the key to progress in Krishna Bhakti. Not association online. Yes, not association online. I am connected to this temple, how? Virtually. It doesn't work. Yes, you can be a big scholar through that. But it doesn't work. Hanumat Preshaka Swami was telling Radhika Raman Prabhu. He was saying that I am situated in Boise, Idaho. And I have to, no, not to, maybe somewhere he was situated. And he's like, I'm alone. So I will join, on calls and everything and all. Hanumat Preshaka Maharaj thought about it. He's like, okay, very nice, very nice. And Hanumat Preshaka Maharaj is very jolly, very beautiful. He actually smiles, laughs so nicely. So after some days, he again called Radhika Raman Prabhu and said that no, you get married. Why? Because you have to have association, physical association. It does not work otherwise. It won't work. Yes. And coming physically also together, right? If you do not chant together, if you do not dance together, if you do not do kirtan together, then also it's a waste. What's the value of coming together? Yes. You sit in circles and then obviously you'll do prajalpa. And and yes, definitely I'm famous for it. But yes, we do it. But at least we should chant, So that's why Prabhupada gave this. We don't understand it now. We do it forcefully. But someday we'll get it. We'll know what is the value. Otherwise we'll be becoming like these Hindus. What is the use? We were that before. We are that now. Never happy. Never will be happy. Yes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. क्या है? नहीं डोंकी, गधा वो अलग है, वो गाय वाला अलग है, वो अरिष्टासुर है। गधे का वेश, गाय का नहीं, गधे का। गाय तो वो थे अरिष्टासुर और कौन, प्रलंबासुर, वत्सासुर। प्रलंबासुर ने किस, पर प्रलंबासुर भी आते हैं ना वैसे, नहीं वो बच्चे की तरह आते हैं, प्रलंबासुर बच्चे की तरह आते हैं। गुड। About, I don't know, whatever comes in my mind.